You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, check out chrisblair.com. Here's another episode of Stories Behind the Songs. I'm your host, Chris Blair, and today I am sitting down with Tigirlily Gold. Kendra and Krista, sisters from North Dakota, formed Tigirlily Gold back in North Dakota and were playing all over that area and that region, making a name for themselves at an early age. Then they moved to Nashville, and they have just taken Nashville by storm. They are so incredible. They've played the listening room many times since around 2017, 18, something like that, I think was their first show. They're writing with incredible writers. They just had their Opry debut not too long ago. Their brand new song out at radio, Shoot Tequila, is incredible. We're going to talk about the story behind that song and everything that's going on with them. I can't wait for you to hear it. It's an amazing episode. Let's get to it. Here is my friends, Tigirlily Gold. Hey everybody, this is another episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair and Tigirlily Gold. Kendra and Krista in the house today. How are you doing? Yes, I'm so glad that y'all could do this today. And man, it's like so much to uncover. I watched you kind of come up through Nashville, and we were just talking before this. You played your first show here, I think, with Kid Blazy in like 2018 time.
Yeah, and we were still fresh. I mean, we had moved to Nashville in 2017, so I remember being super nervous to get on stage with Kent, and it's a big deal to play the listening room for the first time, like freshly moving to Nashville. And Kent and we had written a song with them. He's like, hey, like I'm playing a set of the listening room, like, oh, let's pull you up for one song. We're like, oh my gosh. We were like, we were so excited. So,
I love it.
Yeah, he was really nice to have us come up and sing to him, being early to Nashville. So that was really sweet.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the comment about the listening room too. That means a lot to me. And you've got some other pretty iconic stages that you've recently walked onto. So we're going to get to that a little bit later. But let's first go back to like the beginning. You're from North Dakota, sisters, grew up singing, and you had a lot of stuff happen early on before you even got to Nashville. So walk me through kind of that and then getting to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, Krista started writing songs when she was 10. So for a long time, I don't even know what you were writing about, your neighborhood crush at that point. Yes. My first song was called Sometimes I Wonder About Kyle. And Kyle is now, off in the military with a wife and kids. So wish him well. But yes, I was writing about my neighborhood crushes because, we grew up on country radio, and obviously Taylor Swift is a big influence. I was like, she writes her own songs, so I guess why not? Yes, she was writing, started playing guitar. I was in piano lessons by second grade. So we always just loved music. Our parents are not musical, which is the funny thing. We have another sister. She loves music, but she's also not really musical in the sense of wanting to do this kind of thing. So she would never want to be part of the band. We tried to get her to join. But once we kind of had both started writing songs, instead of just doing it as a hobby, we were like, when you have these songs you need to put out in the world, what do? You start a band. And honestly, we had no idea what we were doing. It was all trial and error at that point. But we were so young, right? At 14 and 16, we officially started our band. And then we started touring around North Dakota, basically anywhere they would have us play, so county fairs or maybe opening up for a bigger act. We would tour schools and go around and give these like inspirational speeches and sing to kids while we were still in high school. And so it was really cool that North Dakota kind of gave us, that stepping stone to even give us a chance in the first place, because that really gave us some confidence and some encouragement. And then we started to break out into the surrounding states and do some shows around there, and then eventually started making a few trips back and forth to Nashville. I remember our first trip down to Nashville, we drove 22 hours with our parents, and then 3 of us girls, and went to the Grand Ole Opry for the first time. And we were just so mesmerized by this city, and we knew that someday we wanted to be here. But once you had graduated high school, it was like, okay, how do we realistically make this happen? Now's the time. Yeah.
So what year was that? That was 2017?
Yeah, 2017. We officially, in August, made the move. And we both transferred into Belmont, actually. We were going to move here regardless, but then it ended up working out to go to college. And I was We actually registered for classes both at MTSU and Belmont because I didn't even know what college we were going to. It was like, oh, we need to get down to Nashville. Yeah. However that works out, we ended up going to
Nashville's number one, whatever college.
Right, second. Yeah. I mean, close. Yeah. So then we went to Belmont, got our music business degrees, and then while we were doing that, started really trying to write with anyone who would write with us here. Obviously, that's just kind of how you do it. It's trial and error, and anyone who will give you the chance here, you kind of just take that opportunity. And so we started to write a lot, and then obviously we needed a way to pay our bills, so we started playing down on Broadway about 3 days a week, doing the 4-hour cover gigs, and that was our life for about 3 years.
That was like Dierk's, right?
Yeah, so it started out at Nudies, which we skipped class at Belmont to go audition, which was kind of funny. And then we had to call our parents and be like, we're playing at Nudies. And they're like, what's Nudies? What is that? Strip club? Like, no, not what you think. Mm-hmm. But that was really nice because at Nudies, we were able to kind of work out, like you have to learn 60 to 100 songs to play down on Broadway. So it's a lot right away. And I was pretty terrified. We had never done the 4-hour cover gigs before. So it was a great, we learned a lot and worked a lot of things out at that bar. And then we switched over to Dierk's Bentley's Whiskey Row for about 2 years there. And that really was our kind of home bar. Yeah, we were able to throw in originals, 1 or 2 every hour. We really made a lot of fans down there. We still get people, wherever we're traveling, like, we saw you guys at Whiskey Row, or we're from North Dakota. Those are the two things. We always have someone who saw us play down on Broadway and then some or Iota. And yeah, this November, it'll be exactly 2 years since we haven't played consistently down off Broadway, which is crazy. Yeah, because it was so hard for us to like completely, I would say give or transition out of that. Because it paid our bills and we made so many fun fans down there, and we got to honestly like play so many fun songs too, like jamming. I think the part we miss most about playing downtown is like, we just got to jam for 4 hours. So like 80s songs. Yeah. Now early 2000s music. Now the most we play at a time is usually 90 minutes at the longest. But yeah, it's a stepping stone. But yeah, we would never trade that experience for anything because we learn a lot. Yeah. And it's in many different ways. Yeah, I may not be ready to see little things. Yeah.
I played the 6 to 10 slot at Tootsie's.
Hey, 5 days a week. Slot. Hey. Oh, 5.
5 nights a week for a long time. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
How was your voice?
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just, but it was terrible. But yes, you got to experience, figure out how to work the crowd and all of that.
Some really invaluable lessons that you can't learn anywhere else. I will say it's funny because you don't have a voice after you sing for 3 nights or 5 nights. Yeah, I don't know how you did 3 was about our most. And so we
had a lot of friends out.
We get to Monday and I would have no voice at all, but I say now that I didn't have to smoke to get the rasp. I just had to over sing down on Broadway. It's 7 years.
When I first started playing, they still allowed smoke. So it was low ceilings and it was awful. So you did that for quite a while, worked up your chops. Then what was the writing like when you first started getting into the room and co-writing with other people?
Yeah. Now, the early days in Nashville, like Kendra said earlier, we were just trying to write with anybody who would write with us. I've never co-written before. No, with each other, but it's a very different thing. And I remember being initially so protective over my ideas and my songs. And I was a little stubborn in the sense where I needed to open up a little bit. And I think that was one of the first lessons I learned, hey, people are trying to help you write the best song possible. That's all what collaboration is about. I remember we really tried to write the coolest song. What's the most artsy thing we can write? Cool and artsy. And in the last 6 years, what I think we've learned the most is just say it how it is, and you don't have to try to be cool, just have to be yourself. And I think that's a good lesson that we've learned along. If people don't understand the song, it doesn't make it better. You know what I mean? Unless you're that artist. But we write country music, and country music has been known, 3 chords and the truth. But basically, the more real and open and honest we are with our songwriting, we learn the more it connects with people. It seems like a no-brainer, but it took us years to figure out, we don't have to be the most artsy or... It's also a weight off your back to just be who you are and not try to be the cool cat.
Right.
You know, I don't know why I just say cool cat. I don't know if I've ever said that in my life, but I have to be the triad. Try it out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was pretty amazing the people that you were getting in a room with too. Like, so how did that happen? Because most people don't all of a sudden start writing with Kimberly.
Yeah, I mean, we're very fortunate. It's like mutual friends. So, you know, on a show with Ken, yes, and I would worry. Corey Batten, and from that, they had kind of been like, "Hey, let's." They, you know, Super and Oliver, they had all these hits, and they did not have to do that for these two new girls in Nashville, but they extended the arm out and said, "Hey, let's write a song," and we did that, and it was amazing. And that's the coolest part about Nashville is there's people like that, and then like Clint Daniels is one of the first people we wrote a song with, and I think he saw all these hits. He saw us play at the living room. I think let's write a song together. So these people reaching out, extending an arm, being like, "Here's these new artists in Nashville." They are definitely not as seasoned as I am, but we're still going to, you know, help them grow, help them learn, give them this chance, and that helped us. It was very cool. Now that I look back at it, it seems to be like a theme of like we played a lot of like writers' rounds. We did everything we could. It was usually after we had played a show. Yeah, we would make connections afterwards. So like all those writers' rounds, you think, oh, I don't know if they led to anything or was that important to do? It all leads to maybe relationships that you have for years and years yet comes. I don't think anything is completely 100% pointless in your early days in Nashville to do, in my opinion. Yeah, say just do everything. Right, because you never know. And then we were lucky early on. We knew a couple people in Nashville, not many. Gwen Sebastian, who she tours full time with Miranda Lambert. She was probably one of the first people we co-wrote with, and you know, yeah, she helped us. She introduced us to quite a few people, so we're lucky with in that. But otherwise, it was just trial and error. And you know, people said, "Oh, you should write with this person. You'd be good with this person." It takes years to build up your network.
Yeah. Which write did you go into? Then you were all of a sudden like, did it click? That is like, oh my gosh, this is pretty amazing. Did you have that moment?
I think the first time, this was after we had signed our record deal. I don't remember if we had our publishing deal signed yet. I think in between maybe. But the first time we had written with Shane McAnally and Josh Osborne, it's actually the only time we've written with them. We've not written with them again since. We would love to. We cut the song, so yeah, it went great.
Shane.
Come on, Shane. We love you. But it was actually over Zoom because they were, you know, traveling the world doing who knows what. So we were in our kitchen and, you know, they popped on and I was so nervous. We were so nervous for that, right? Because we look up to them so much. We wanted it. You just wanted to go with. You're like, I want to like the song. Just wanted to like the song. That was what I kept saying. Like, I know they're such talented writers, and we're gonna get. I mean, we're gonna get a song done. Yeah. Like they zip through it real quick, but I wanna like it. And they have so much success. They're the top of Nashville, and they couldn't have been nicer and more involving us. Like if we had an idea, they took it into consideration and they worked around it, and they wanted to right. Yeah, they had open arms, you know, to write that day. And so I thought that was really cool. Like you can be at the very, very top and you're still, you know, humble as could be. And yeah, that write was so much fun. They're so quick. They're like, so keep up. Come on, girls. I don't even know. It's like I'd maybe get to the same line maybe 5 minutes later, but I just know it. Yeah. And that's why, you know, it's fun to learn number ones, but it's really cool though. Like, so you have to take people like Josh Osborne and Shane McAnally, you know, the GOATs. But also it's really fun, like finding your own like up and coming network of songwriters. Yeah. Cause you're able to take a little bit more time with them. Yeah. And they have a little more time to give. But for this last project that we're releasing through this year, the first time I wrote with Alex Klein and Scott Stepikoff, it was our second write with him, but the first time with that combination of people, there's just like certain things that click. And I don't know how to describe it, but it was like, this works. And you stick to that a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, and you kind of understand too, as you're growing from the artist perspective, like as you're growing and you find these groups of people who you write great songs with, you understand kind of why Nashville has those writing camps, because once you find those people you create so well with, you don't really want to change that. But I mean, we try new people all the time in new combinations, and we love to write with new people. But if we have our like best idea, we're gonna probably bring it to people who we know we're gonna get it. Which you start to song with, yeah, because it is like the writing scene in Nashville is so hard to break into.
Yeah.
I mean, same because we were always playing shows. We always, we're trying to create fans. And we never tried to rely on like industry support, but we always wanted it. Like that's why we moved to Nashville. But it's so hard to get your foot in the door because there's a million people who move here every day trying to do the same thing you are. It just takes time. And, I will say like signing with Monument Records, just being prepared for when the opportunity does come, is really important. But yeah, I think mostly our writing changed a lot. Probably when we did get to sign with Monument, because we went and played for Shane McAnally, Jason Owen, Katie McCartney over there. And really, Shane was like, I love y'all's voices. I love what you do. How would you feel more like if the production took more of a organic feel, more like live band, which you guys do 24/7 down on Broadway? And I was like, when you say it like that, it makes so much sense. But then it gets real and it gets a little scary. You're like, okay, now I'm with a label. They're only going to release so many projects on you because if you feel that pressure a little bit, like I better step it up. I better step it up,
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really think of that in the writing room because you never want to put that pressure on yourself. No, you just need to write. But yeah, like I said, going back to that thing, it's like the more real we were with our experiences and finding like things that hadn't been said in a certain way or like things that are really true to us is what we really leaned in on.
Yeah. When the tribe that you ride a lot with now, did that come through just, again, being out and around town or the 615 house?
Yeah, I think. I will say for the new music, it came through signing our publishing deal.
Okay.
Yeah, because that really helped. That really helped a lot. Our publisher Lee Crable set us up with a lot of different rights, or to kind of see what would work. And so he set us up with Alex and Scott. He set us up with Pete Good and Josh Jenkins. He set us up with Kevin Griffin and David Mescon, which are all these writers that have, we've written great songs with. And so I don't think we would have gotten those relationships without signing with Smack. I mean, maybe they would have happened eventually some way or another. Same way, but that definitely, signing our publishing deal really helped that for sure.
Yeah, it's come up with several people I've talked to in town because, there's two ways to look at it. Like, there's writers that I talk to that have that school of thought of like, I don't need a publisher. I want to hold on to all my stuff, all of that. But yeah, it's those doors that are open. Those publishers, guys like Shane and Smack hold the keys to the doors that, those new writers the town can't open.
Exactly. I understand why people do want to keep their publishing if they're maybe more established and they have all the connections. But for us, we would have not written the same record without signing the Smack. Right. It just wouldn't have happened the same way. I agree. When you're more established and you already have all those connections, I totally get that 100%. And, why wouldn't you just want it? All your publishing to yourself. But if you don't have those connections, you need it. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And our quality of writing went up. The rooms we were getting into, it's just like we wouldn't have been able to do that without someone like Lee Crable at Smack booking and really being an advocate for us.
Yeah. Well, we're fans. I've been a huge fan for a while. So let's talk about, just since that happened, and I want to come back to the writing in a little bit, and you guys think about a song that you want to dive into for the Stories Band songs. But the last year has been a whirlwind for y'all. I mean, it's just like watching from Nashville. I mean, we've been chatting back and forth for a while. I think it was the last show. It may not have been the last show that you played here, but the last show that you played that I was here, you played, oh gosh, I can't even remember what song it was now. But it was the first time you'd ever played.
Oh,
Hometown. Yes. Yeah.
We did debut that in here. Yeah.
And I was going back because I took a video that I think I sent it to you. I may not have sent it yet.
No, I saw it. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that was like a year ago. And, just seeing everything that's happened. So, yeah.
Yeah, this year, I mean, we've been a duo for over 10 years now, and they say Nashville's a 10-year town. We've only been here for 6, but we have been a duo for 10 years. But this year is really, I feel like, the first time we're really feeling that breakthrough as artists. We still have a long way to go, obviously, but it's nice to really start seeing some of your biggest dreams come true and happen, and people connect to your music in a whole new way. This year has been crazy. If you would have told us all the things that were going to happen this year, I probably wouldn't have believed you. Especially, being independent artists for 8 years. We've never had this many people trying to help us before, which is amazing. And it's all people we trust and love and feel super comfortable, and they have our best, what am I, Lord interest? Yeah, interest. I was like, not intentions. Best interest. That works. Yeah. So we're very fortunate, but it is like we worked extremely hard at the same time. So it's nice to know that it's all was leading somewhere. Yeah, it's really cool. We're really just grateful. And honestly, at the end of the day, all we've ever hoped for is that we can play music for a living. And so the fact that it's still continuing every year, we're just grateful that we can still do this, as a job and for our lives and pay our bills doing this. Honestly, that's like success to us at the bottom line of everything. And everything else that's happened is just like the cherry on top. Yeah, really cool.
So, okay, other than a really cool stage here in town, let's wait for that. What's been the coolest thing that you guys have done in the last year or so?
Oh, we did get to play our song Shoot Tequila on the ACM Awards, which was super cool. Because, we grew up watching those shows. Yeah. And then to be a part of it and to be walking the red carpet and be performing on the show, it was just, we kind of had to not think about like the scale of like, this is cool. We're just kind of like, okay, it's just another day, but that was really cool for them to include us and, trust us. When people give us those opportunities, it's a lot of trust from them saying, we think you guys can handle this situation and we like what you do. And so that was a really cool moment for us this year. We got to perform in London for the first. Yes.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yeah, the C2C festival over there. Yeah. So we weren't on the festival, like we were planning on going over there, but Shoot Tequila, this song has taken on a life of its own. And some of our top streaming cities are like London, Sydney, Australia. And so with London, obviously being one of the top cities, they kind of had booked us for the festival last minute. Like, let's go start seeing what's over there, seeing people know your music. So we got to the festival and it was wild. I could not believe how many people knew Shoot Tequila. They were like, Tigerlilly Gold, Shoot Tequila, 1 tequila, 2 tequila. It went fast. They are serious. And, we were on a couple of smaller stages. We had been booked kind of last minute for this festival and it was packed out. Like, it was just an experience we'll never forget for sure. And so we can't wait to go back. But, it's one thing if people know your music in America, but then you go to another country and they know your music. It's very weird. Like, we're from small town North Dakota, but we don't get out much. No, being in London was crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I would say that like people here in the States like country music less, like, because we have such great fans, right?
Yep.
But I think from what I've seen, it's like in Europe or Australia even, like, they just don't get it as much, right?
Yeah.
It's so expensive to take the band and the cartage and everybody behind the scenes, to anything overseas. So, if you do, and they're fans, they're like that super fans, and just like
they appreciate you so much for like taking the flight, going over there. And yeah, like I said, we don't get over there as often. Maybe once a year, maybe major countries give it like max, maybe. But they're so attentive to lyrics as well.
They listen.
Yeah, very, very. They're really just, they want to get you to know you as people, as artists. They're invested into the full story, not just one song. So, which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, so how long were you there?
2 days.
You didn't get to travel.
So it was kind of chaotic getting over there because we had events like Thursday night and Tuesday night. And so we had flown overnight to get to London. We were delayed 3 hours. I lost my bag. So we barely, in 4 minutes to spare, made our first show. Like, we were going to make it. We were coming hot. Like, I had to wear my leggings that I had been wearing for like 24 hours. My hair was it was just a mess, but I showed up to the stage. Show must go on. Yeah, that was all that mattered. And I said, sorry they don't care. And they don't. They were just.
They really loved it.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'll never forget my first time in London. So, and then the next day, obviously, I hadn't finally gotten my bed of sleep and some sleep and, got to do the whole glam thing. But it was kind of a memory now that we will never. Oh, yeah, well, I won't forget that. I mean, I had tears streaming down my face that morning because I was like, we came all the way to London. We're going to miss the show. This is how you know we're sisters. She's like crying. I was like, Kendra, you can cry later. Get it together. We have a show to play. We got to get in. Which I made sure she was okay. But I was like, I have a jacket. We had her make, like, I had to strip in a taxi cab. Although I don't know, like, I can say that. I was like to our manager, I was like, Greg, close your eyes. Like, hello, London,
That's amazing.
But hey, show had to go on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's you make it happen. Whatever you got to do to make it happen. Yeah. We experienced that, and that's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. We'll never forget it. Yeah, London was probably one of the highlights of the year so far.
It'll probably be a better memory now because, like, if you had the ton of time in the green room and it still would have been cool, right? But
happy.
How exciting of a story is that?
Yeah, that's so boring.
Yeah. You're stripping in a taxi cab.
Exactly. It's got to go with a song at some point. Stripping in a taxi cab. Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, okay. I'm excited to hear all about this. So let's jump to a phone call from Ashley McBride.
That still sends me. So that was actually the day we were filming a video for Hometown Song. So a little bit later, circle. And our team had Shoot Tequila was still going. It's still going pretty viral at that time. They're like, hey, let's do a fun piece of content. We want you guys to watch these Shoot Tequila videos and react to them. And we just want to get your reaction. You're like, oh, okay. Well, it wasn't totally like a weird thing for them to suggest it. But it was a little, the timing of it was a little bit like, why didn't you do this right now? Like, we're filming another video. And so we get to the third video, and here pops up Ashley McBride and Kendra, Krista. And I think both of our faces just went kind of like, because I think we knew when she popped up on the screen what was about to happen. And then she told us that we were making our Grand Ole Opry debut on May 13th, 2023. And we both just started bawling in tears. It was a really cool moment. So you have been waiting your whole life. Yeah. I mean, at least ever since I've been in my teens, we wanted to play the Grand Ole Opry stage. That's a huge stage. It's such an honor. So to physically hear the words, we want you to make your Grand Ole Opry debut. I've never been proposed to, but I imagine that's what it would feel like. The words you've been waiting to hear for forever, they're just said to you and kind of start laughing. Oh, yeah. And I don't even know what date she said because in the reaction video, I was like, what did you say? What did you say? I was like, what? Play it again. But for us, it's playing the Opry is such validation.
This episode is brought to you by Brit Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit britskinbeauty.com or send an email to britskinbeauty@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you guys have not seen the video of Ashley calling them, go check it out because it was amazing. The tears and the excitement, and yeah, it was so funny when you were like, "Wait, what date did she say?" It was like
I was panicking because I wanted to know what our Grand Ole Opry debut date was, and I didn't remember. I blacked out. How soon is it? When is it?
Yeah, and it was in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, it was about a month after she had sent that video to us. So our management team had known since February and had kept this secret from us. I'm like, how could you keep this secret from us? And then we looked at the lineup for that night, and it turned out, I was like, we were already excited to make our Grand Ole Opry debut, but Carrie Underwood, of all people, it happened to be her 15th year being an Opry member that same night. So it was a double show. So we got to make 1 and 2 in the same night. So what
a lot of fun stuff there.
Wow. And was
It was
that
cool.
in May? Is that right?
Yeah, May 13th. Yeah.
Okay.
So May 13th will forever be
I have it tattooed
ingrained.
on me somewhere. No, I'm just kidding.
We should, honestly.
Hey, I
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
What room were you in?
The
Oh,
Opry debut room.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Yeah.
what the number was. 4? Maybe.
I don't know what the number was, but yeah, they have an Opry debut room
Yeah.
for anyone making their debut. So it's really, really special. And there's like a quote from Taylor Swift in there and all this, really fun stuff and pictures of people making their debuts. And so when we walked into the room for the first time, we both just broke down in tears. Yeah.
I think that was when it hit us initially that day of, because there was a lot of emotions going on, on the debut.
Mhm.
But walking into the dressing room, it wasn't the reserved for Tigirlily Gold sign. It wasn't the hatch print. Stepping into the dressing room, we're like, oh,
Mhm.
this is
is
happening.
real.
And so many nerves.
Mhm.
There's just something so special about walking under that archway into the, into the back. And then when you like get to security and they're like, how you doing? And let you in and like
Jim.
just walking those halls. I mean, it's, it's just
Yeah, it's
so
because
special.
I mean, all your heroes who you love have also done the same
Yeah.
thing. And so you just feel very validated and thankful that you get to be, one of those artists that gets to step into that circle as well. And we got to play it again last week, and then we get to play it again in July. So just feeling very thankful that, we're a family band, and everything at the Opry, they all talk about
Yeah.
how it's a family. And so
You can feel it too.
and yeah, we can really feel it. And so last time we were there already, they're like, well, you guys are part of the family. And so it's really just really special. Yeah.
And they had put us this last time we played in the It
Takes
Takes
Two.
Two room, which I guess is just reserved for duos. I mean, they had duets like, Dolly and Porter, like Johnny and June,
Yeah.
pictures in
Mhm.
there. So that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
So much stuff has happened. It's so amazing.
It's just wild. I like to think about all of it, but if I think about all of it too much, we'll be driving home from like Trader Joe's and just start crying. So
Yeah. I mean, it's like the fan base that you guys are building too. And if like you said, you've been doing this for 10 years and started with YouTube, and then you've been incredible on socials, TikTok and Instagram and all of that. So you're building this fan base as you continue to grow. But we were talking before this. I was in Charleston a few weeks and sent y'all a picture. It was like this guy, like I didn't even tell you the whole story, but he was telling us this guy that has that brewery out there, was telling me about like, oh, I'm like big fans of country music and people from Nashville, and we just had one of my favorite groups here, and like it was going on and on and on, and never said who it was. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then like we go around and he shows me like this room, and there's this like huge poster size of you where you both signed it. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is who you're talking about. This is so amazing. So it's just like, to see that and just everything that's happening is just, it's amazing for me to be able to sit back here on the sidelines and just watch, from that first time that you walked on stage with Kent Blasey.
Yeah, thank you.
It's
been a journey.
Yeah, it's taken a while to get to where we are now, but I think that's the fun of all of this is the journey and step by step, day by day, and it is really fun. We're really involved in social media because that's just for us another way for us to connect with fans and international fans and places that we can't always be. So it's really fun doing that while on the side still playing all these shows and going to meet people in person. Because at the end of the day, that's the most important part is the fans and the people who really do want to support you through your journey.
They're going to be there no matter what.
Regardless of what happens.
It is really cool this year. We've got to connect, with ACMs and Opry and all. That is all very important stuff to us. But the fans will always, they'll always be there for you. And Kendra and I, like we said, this year especially, it feels like maybe this happened overnight this year. To some people, we came out of nowhere. But we don't want to be here and gone. You know what I mean?
Right.
We want to be a lasting, impact in country music. So we were going to be playing music together regardless if any of this had happened. It's nice that it's happened and we appreciate it. But we want to be playing for the next forever. You
Yeah.
know,
We're gonna be 80 years old still on
Hey.
stage.
Yes.
People never stop touring. The reunion tours.
Yeah.
Yes.
But so for us, it's like, yes, this is a breakthrough year for us, but we hope to just keep growing, and we're not
Mhm.
gonna stop anytime soon here. So
No, you're not.
no,
I believe that.
just getting started, really.
Well, let's go back into writing and walk me through that whole process for everybody listening and the story behind a song you guys picked.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Shoot Tequila actually is a really fun story. So Shoot Tequila is our first song at country radio. It's our honky tonk fun anthem. We released it back in January, and we were really not sure how the reaction was going to be, but it's our biggest song. I mean, the reaction has been, I think it has over 60 million views on social media. It's just, it's gone wild. We've never seen anything like that for us before. So it's been really cool. But the day we wrote that song, we wrote it with Kevin Griffin.
Almost, how long ago has it been? Almost 2 years ago?
Yeah, probably. And David Mezcon. So this is our first write with them. Never had met them. So we walk in, and we had kind of like, we always creep a little bit before to see, who these people are. Not just kind of get a gauge.
Yeah.
Well, you
know?
don't want to be not prepared.
It's like
Right.
dating in a writer's room.
Yeah.
Yes, like
But-
I want to know what songs they've written, just so
Yeah.
I don't feel like an idiot being like,
Right.
who is this person, more than anything. And so we had seen that Kevin had written Stuck Like Glue by Sugarland, and Sugarland was one of our really early influences, and Stuck Like Glue is one of the first covers we had ever put on YouTube. I think it was the first cover we had ever put on YouTube together.
I don't even think I could play guitar at that point.
And so we were telling Kevin this, obviously, just to kind of connect. And he had this cigar guitar box, or what is it called?
Yeah, as a gift from Christian Bush for Stuck Like Glue #1, I think, party. He had gifted Kevin a cigar box that they had turned into like a 4-string little guitar thing.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a half an instrument, half a prop type of thing.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
sounded really swampy and really cool. And they're like, hey, every time we write with this, it's swampy and cool. So we started off with the cigar box.
Yeah, and then usually in the writing room, for us, we always want to start with a good idea, because otherwise we don't get very excited about what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of throwing out ideas, and I had this idea in my notes for a while called Shoot Tequila, but not like, a little bit like Shoot Tequila, but more like shoot, tequila. Like
Yeah.
almost like you're talking to your bestie, or maybe an ex, or I don't know, someone.
Dang nabbit,
The
tequila.
tequila
Yeah.
is personified in the song. So I brought that idea, and everyone's kind of like, ooh,
That's fun.
there's something there. And so Kevin starts jamming on this cigar guitar box. There's got to be a name for it, right? I don't know what the name is. And he's kind of like, "Ner, ner, 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 ner." And then David's over there putting the track down, and all these guitar sounds. And then it just kind of naturally starts to happen. You're like, oh, that's cool.
We started
Oh,
with
that's
the
cool.
chorus for this
Yep.
song. It doesn't always happen that way.
And Krista, when she writes, she's yelling out lines left and right, where I'm more melodically driven and conceptually driven. So I'm like, okay, does this make sense? What are we trying? What's the point we're trying to get across here? I'm like keeping everyone kind of in check in a way. Almost like, does this make
you
sense?
have the overarching
Yes.
picture in your mind. I'm a very stream of conscious, person where
Yeah.
I'm just blurting
so
out
Krista's
lines.
like, what if we did shake, shake, Shakira hips? And
I thought it was a stupid line right away. I'm not gonna lie, because I say 20 stupid things
Yeah.
and one sticks.
Yeah.
And Kevin and David and myself were all like, no, that's great. Because when you have a little too much tequila, you think you have Shakira hips.
Yeah.
Like that is, and with our music, we want people to laugh a little. Like we want them to giggle and have a good time and let loose.
It's supposed to be funny.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the whole point of this song. And so Shakira hips. And then we had tried to work the second verse out, and we could not get it for the
Right.
life of us that day. And so we were like, let's
Let's come back
put
to
it away. We have something really good so far. We had the first
Verse
and chorus. I think we had changed a little bit of the pre-chorus. And so we came back to it second time. And the line that has really connected and gone viral on social media is, had a little sense I would have stopped at for, instead of cursing your name on the bathroom floor, swear to God I won't drink tequila no more, but mama didn't raise
Mama
no
didn't
quitter.
raise no quitters.
And
Yep.
that's the line that everyone has connected to. And I remember we were in the second write for this song.
Where do we go with it? The second verses are
Swear
the
to
bane
God,
of my
I won't
existence.
drink tequila no more. What comes after that? And Krista was like, but Mom, I didn't raise no quitter. And all of us had jumped up during that. We knew that was like, that is the money line. And then after that, it was
like, now we got to rhyme with quitter. What's next?
So it's fun how sometimes that happens. Sometimes it don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes it don't. Sometimes it don't. You don't always get.
Well, that was our first write, also with Kevin Griffin and David Mescon. So we're walking in with a fresh mind, open mind, because sometimes you connect with people, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
But that was another just lightning in a bottle, like capture the lightning in the bottle moment for us. And then since then they turned into, good friends of ours. But the thing with Shoot Tequila, we like to test our songs out live. Because we want to write the best songs, but also they need to connect live as well because we're so live focused. So we played Shoot Tequila out on the road for about a year. We wrote this probably like late 2021.
Yep.
All of 2022, we played Shoot Tequila at every show. And about every show, whether it was a bar crowd, a listening room crowd, like any crowd, theater.
Yep.
That one always connected and people were always singing by the end of the song. And I was like, I don't know where this lives. I know we're going to record it.
But I know it's something
I know it's connecting with people, which is so cool to see it translate to country radio now, because our label wasn't sure, what song to ship. We had turned in a record, and they're like, you don't know what is the radio single necessarily.
Yeah, you're guessing. I mean,
you might have a good gut feeling.
You can have a good gut feeling, but no one knows for sure what song is the song that fans are going to connect to the most. And so when we released Shoot Tequila back in January, just the reaction had been so overwhelming. And it still is our song that, what are we, 6-7 months later, is continuing to go viral. It's continuing to be the song that people from all over the world just seem to love and connect to. And it's fun because we really always wanted our own little honky-tonk anthem. We sang down on Broadway for years. We hope that people sing this song down on Broadway for years to come. And so we're all about that girl group, sister, fun energy. We obviously have our more vulnerable moments as well. But overall, the overarching theme for us is just fun girl group energy. And so for Shoot Tequila to be kind of the first song off this project that really is taken off is super fun.
And, it's not always foolproof, like us testing live songs out on the audience. But if it works every time, you do have something there. And I feel like if I could give advice to people, test them out live. Songs that you think, we had a lot of songs we loved that didn't cut for the record because we were testing them out live and it didn't really work in that setting. And not that they say
not
they
that
wouldn't.
every song has to.
Not to say they wouldn't belong on another record sometime because they're still great songs, but that is one way to test it out, especially because at our level, we are opening up for a lot of bigger artists. And people are still not very familiar with us and our music. So it's nice to just catch people's attention right away.
Yeah. I think that's going to be like one of the next things for you is that, you played all these cover songs on Whiskey Row, right? And then, maybe 6 months, whatever, you guys go to Broadway and you walk into any of those bars down there and they're covering your music.
I would lose my shit.
I will be like, can I join you on stage, please? This is so. No, I would just be in awe in the audience saying thank you. And how cool would that be? We I mean, that would be the dream. People make a lot
of $20 tips off that song.
Yeah, it's funny because we've met a few of the artists. Like Krista met Darius Rucker one time, and she went up to him and she said, "Thank you for re-recording Wagon Wheel because I have paid my rent through $20 requests." And so I hope someone can say the same to us, like, thank you for helping me pay my rent because I've gotten a lot of $20 requests for Shoot Tequila.
Yes, I love it. Well, what's next?
Man, I mean, just a lot of music. We have a EP coming out, which is kind of the first initial teaser of the record that's coming. And so we're excited to showcase this and kind of get fans ready and energized for everything that's coming. And then just a lot of shows, a lot of festivals, a lot of our own headlining shows. Next really big goal would be to get on, a major tour or do our own headlining tour, obviously. So those are some fun goals ahead, but just to keep creating and keep meeting people on the road and having fun along the way.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's fun. Somebody told me think it was Victoria Shaw said, if you're doing this and not having fun, quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. No.
I mean,
there's going to be good days and bad days, obviously, but we get to travel and play music for a living, which is two things I really love to do. So if I'm not happy doing that, I'm in the wrong business.
Yep.
mhm.
Yep. Well, to wrap up, I always like to end, and Krista, you just gave a little bit of advice. So,
Okay.
but I always like to end with giving advice. So,
Maybe
we'll,
you have some more. Yeah.
we'll no, you have to go again.
Okay.
So,
I got
yeah.
all things up my,
Yeah.
my sleeve that I'm actually not wearing right now. No.
So if you're talking to 8-year-old self, knowing what you know now, Kendra, let's start with you. What
Yeah.
advice do you give yourself?
I would just say work really, really hard. Be kind to everyone. Never think you're better than anyone else.
Mm.
And be yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, being who you are and your most authentic self, that's what's going to shine through. You can learn from other people, but man, people are going to like you for you, and they're going to connect to you for you. And so I think those would be the main 3 things I would tell myself. And keep going. Even when you feel like, I don't know what's on the other side, just keep going, because yeah, you really don't know what is about to happen. I think so much of this career for sure is just persevering through a lot of times when you feel like you're kind of just going like this.
Yeah.
But then, if you just keep pushing a little further, like what's around the corner is unbelievable. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you said a lot of great things.
yeah, I know. I just kept going on. So
Hey, I guess to add to that, because I believe all those things that you said, I am not a patient person, but patience is such an important thing in the music business. I personally would have told you at 14 years old, I was ready to sign a record deal in Nashville. And I think everything that you do along the way is so important for songwriting. I have so many more experiences to write about now, going through things. But patience, it's timing, and it's like the worst thing to hear when you're in it. Like, the timing is not right, or a couple more years. But timing really is everything. I'm so thankful for us. We're 10 years into being
and
a
you're
duo.
not saying like sit back and relax.
No. Work your butt off.
But know that it will pay off when
Yes.
it's meant to be.
Yeah.
Timing. Yeah, I'm not saying sit back and wait for it to come. Make your own opportunities. Don't be afraid to ask for things. I think people get scared. But the worst thing someone can say to you is like, no, maybe not at this time.
And then you move on.
Yeah, and really a no is not a failure or a
Right.
bad thing. It's just like, okay, not at this time, maybe a closed door. And keep going. And just because you do things in a different way doesn't mean it's wrong. Everyone has to pave your own path, their own path. So also, to keep your spark, keep what keeps you going. You're not going to mesh with everybody in the music industry, but find your people, lean into them.
Stay joyful.
Exactly. Stay joyful. I'm obviously very much a stream of consciousness writer, and that doesn't always mix with everybody, but yeah, keep what makes you unique going strong.
So good.
And then all the things you said about, being kind to people. Like, we're so surprised how many people tell us that people have been treated poorly in the music industry, and I don't want that to make that a standard. So yeah, no one's better than anyone else. So treat people, because every career goes like this and this. So be nice on the way up, be nice on the way down.
That's right.
You're gonna do it
We're
both.
going to church here today.
Yeah, we are. I love it.
Better preach. We grew up Baptist, so
Yeah.
that's it.
I love it. Well, Krista, Kendra, thank you so much for being here. This has been a blast. And I can't wait to bring you back in like a year or two and talk about, hey, you remember that first time you walked onto the Opry? And look at where you are now. So we'll keep this conversation going
Amazing.
as your career continues to just flourish.
Well, thank you
you.
so much for having us and letting us share our story.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been another episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Tigirlily Gold. We'll see you next time. This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes Like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.